How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Yuri the Blender Magus, and today I'm going to teach you how to rig a hood for your character using RIGIFY. So you can consider this to be part 2 of the video I uploaded previously. This is a different character. This is a stick figure. I decided to use a stick figure for this just to completely show the process from start to finish so that you can then implement this on your other characters. So I'm going to do this here, and then I'm going to show you how I implemented it on our Red Riding Hood character from the previous episode. You can get both the Red Riding Hood character and this stick figure model in the link in the description in this video, and you can also get Red Riding Hood from the link in the description in the previous video. And before we go any further, I've been on YouTube for about 14 years, or not 14, just over a decade, I would say. While I've been making tutorials, I haven't necessarily been consistent, though I also have never broken 10K subs that whole time. So if you guys think any of the content is even halfway good, I would just ask to please do the YouTube things, like, share, subscribe, just get the word out that you can find good YouTube Blender tutorials over here, just so that I can at least get to 10K. I appreciate you guys' help. Thank you very much. And without further ado, let's get started on the tutorial. So we have our stick figure here. As you can see, he has no hood. We can remedy that. So you can definitely skip this part. We're just gonna make a hood so that we're all starting from baseline. And since this is a real simple character, making the hood shouldn't take very long at all.
What we do here is go back.
So our character has a hood now, and as you can see, I've already generated a RIGIFY rig for myself. We go over doing that in the previous tutorial. So if you don't already have your character the RIGIFY rig, it's real easy, especially with this guy. Just Shift A, add armature, go to RIGIFY meta rigs, basic human, and there you go. Just align your bones to your character, hit generate rig. That's all you have to do. Now what we need to do is we need to add hood controls for our RIGIFY rig. So we're going to do that now. The one thing that you need to keep in mind for this is I still have my meta rig here, okay? If you made your RIGIFY rig and you deleted your meta rig, you might want to either remake your rig so that you keep your meta rig, or Control Z far enough back to where you have your meta rig back, because everything we're gonna do requires a meta rig. Now you can do this with your own custom rig. We're just using RIGIFY to make our lives easier. What I'm gonna do is in my meta rig, I'm going to hit tab to go into edit mode, and I'm gonna start making extra bones to control the hood. So I'm just gonna left click, put my 3D cursor here, Shift A, create a bone. I'm also going to change the display of my bones from octahedral to B-bone, because B-bones are better than octahedral bones. Scaling this down with Shift Control Alt S, that just scales the radius of the bone down so it's easier to work with. And we're just going to move it over here, gonna extrude up. Name your bones. So we're gonna name this front hood.L01, so on and so forth. Make sure the .L is behind your name. So now that you have your bones named, what we can do is we can hit L to select our entire bone chain here, and we can go to armature and symmetrize, and that should completely mirror our bones from one side to the other. The only reason that works is because we gave our bones the .L distinction. So now we can take this first bone chain. First we want to position it in the side view, so that next you want to duplicate this and move this chain sort of in the center of the hood. We create like this 3-prong bridge setup. All right. Now we want to rename these new bones. So if this is the front, this would be the mid, and this would be the back. So we'll time lapse this and come back once we have our bones named. All right, so now we have our hood control bones. Now we need to make 3 extra bones to control the parenting of the hood. And this will make more sense once we actually get to the meat of rigging it. So first we're going to need to duplicate our head bone with Shift D. We're going to scale it down. Before we scale it down, hit period, go to active element, then scale it down. Hit Shift Control Alt S to increase the thickness. And we're going to call this the hood head parent. We're going to duplicate this again, scale it down, scale the radius up. We're going to call this hood parent switch. Next, we're going to go to the spine 03, or I like to call it the chest bone. And we're just going to duplicate this, scale it down, scale the thickness out. We're going to call this hood chest parent. All right. Make sure that the switcher, Alt P, clear parent so it doesn't have a parent. Make sure the hood head parent is parented to the head, and make sure the hood chest parent is parented to spine 003 or the chest bone. Next, we need to go to pose mode, and we need to select the top of our chain. So you know the top of your chain is the top. If we go back to octahedral, you'll see that this is the main parent of all the bones here. So we want to make sure that we're selecting the first bone in each chain. We're going to select this bone here. We're going to go to our bone properties, and underneath RIGIFY type, we're going to do the experimental superchain. Now, the issue with the experimental superchain is that it doesn't generate your bones with proper .L.R distinctions, so you can't necessarily mirror your poses over. However, because of how we're going to rig the hood, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. If you don't want to deal with that problem, you can always use the simple tentacle, but for now, I'm just going to use the experimental superchain, and you'll see why. We don't need convergence. We do want tweak bones, and we just need to add this type to every other bone. All right, so all the base bones of our chains are now experimental superchain, so that's good. Now what we need to do is we need to select all of our hood bones here. Hit M, new bone collection. We'll call this hood. Create. Go to your armature properties, hit the plus icon in bone collections, and create a hood. Don't add anything to the hood tweak, just create the collection. We need to give these new bones here rig types as well. So go to your bone properties here, and these just need to be a basic super copy. Turn off the deformation. I like to give these the shape of a cube. So the 2 positional parents, I'll give the shape of a cube, super copy, cube, and then I'll give the switcher itself super copy. We'll make this a sphere. Okay, just so that there's some distinction between the two. And also, one last thing, you want to make sure all the hood chains are parented to the hood parent switch. So now, go back to pose mode. To go to our object data properties here, we want to scroll, or your armature data properties, go all the way down to see RIGIFY, go to bone collection UI. And we have some options here. You can see we have the entire UV layout of our current rig, so that's cool. What we want to do is first select the hood in your bone collection UI, and we just want to give it a color set. So we're going to give it the extra color set, and then the hood tweak, we're going to give the tweak color set. Next, in our UI here, we're just going to click the plus icon above the torso, and we're going to select our hood, and we're going to hit this arrow here, and that'll drag the hood into our UI layout. Next, I'm going to click the plus button one other time, and then I'm going to grab the hood tweak, and I'm just going to move it underneath the hood. So now we have hood and hood tweak set up right in our UI. Now just go through and check one last thing before we're finished. We need to assign the tweak collections. So in your experimental super chains, go to the base bone that you assigned the super chain rig type to, and click assign tweak collections, and make sure that each of them have hood tweak as their tweak collection. Once everything has been assigned to the tweak collection and we've made sure that we followed all procedures properly, again, for these hood parents, just make sure that the deformation is turned off for all of them. We don't want them. We can hit Control Tab, go back to our armature data property here, and we can regenerate the rig. Boom. So we now have our new rig here. It gives us an error, but I don't necessarily understand why, because the rig seems to have generated just fine. So if anyone knows what the error is for, please let me know in the comment section. However, the only new thing that we have to do now is select our hood and reselect our new rig. Control P with automatic weights. Yes, we have our hood and it's rigged to our new rig. And you see we have these fancy controls here, and you'll see what I was talking about. See how when I select this bone here, in the name you see hood mid 03.L underscore pivot, right? So watch this. If I move this bone over here and then I Control Z, Control Shift V, it doesn't work because the end of the bone does not have the .L distinction. So it can be a little annoying to work with the experimental super chain because of that. However, it's so much easier to animate the hood, and you'll see why that's important when we get to actually controlling the hood. One other thing we actually forgot to do in our meta rig stage, which we can go ahead and do right now, is we need to make a switcher bone, like a switch that will control the position of the hood. So we can do that really fast. Just select our meta rig, Shift D, duplicate one of the head bones. We'll just call this bone hood position CTRL. And we can make sure that in pose mode, this bone has a basic super copy shape. We're gonna give this a shape of a bone. We're also gonna make sure that this bone is parented to the head as well. All right, so now we can regenerate our rig. Oh, before we do that, hit M. Just move this to the hood collection. So now we can regenerate our rig, hide our meta rig in the collection. You see we have our new bone with our bone shape here. So it doesn't do anything right now, but it will. We're gonna make it do something. This bone is gonna drive the action that we create for our hood. Next thing you wanna do, open your animation editor here. So we have we're just gonna go straight to the dope sheet. In Blender 5.0, we should have our timeline automatically at the bottom. So we're good. I don't have to reopen any other tabs. This is excellent. So in your dope sheet, go to your action editor, click new, type hood down. Next, you want to go hit this red button for automatic keying. Make sure you go to your rig here and just make sure you turn off everything that is not associated with moving the hood. Next, we want to select our hood bones here. We're just going to make a keyframe, an initial keyframe. So hit I on your keyboard to make a keyframe. We're just going to animate this hood going down. So we're just going to move up about 11 or 10 frames here. So we started on frame 1, moving up 10 frames gets us to 11. Just going to take these 2 points, move these back. Same deal over here. We already have some decent movement here. The weights are messed up over here. We can fix that in a little bit. In fact, we might as well just fix it now. With your hood selected, go to the DEF collection and then select your hoodie, go to weight paint, and just try to find where the discrepancy is. See if you can't smooth that out. Once you fix the weights, go back, continue your animation. Once your animation is done, next to your hood animation, click the fake user to save this data block. So make sure that you click that shield button there. Should have a check and be highlighted in blue. And now we have our animation saved. Next, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get rid of that animation. We're now going to add some constraints to these bones so that our main bone here drives the animation. So next step, select your main bone or your hood position control, and then select your hood front control, or just select one of the bones that's associated with the hood animation, and then hit Control Shift and C, we're going to add an action constraint. Go down to your bone constraint menu here, and we're going to change this to X rotation in local space. We're going to select our hood down action. We're not going to check object action. We're going to check frame start at 1, frame end at 31. And we're going to have our maximum here be -15. And what that should do is if we rotate our bone, see one of the hood controls starts moving. So now all we have to do is copy this constraint to all of these other bones. Sounds tedious, right? Not at all. B, box select all your bones. Shift select your main bone. Pose, constraints, constraint, copy constraints to selected bones. Now when I rotate my hood bone, all of the other bones move when they're supposed to. Problem solved, easy peasy. So now we have a control for when our hood is up and for when our hood is down. The last part of rigging a hood is we need the hood to move with the head when the hood is up, and we need the hood to move only with the body when the hood is down. Do that, we need to bring back our other bones here. One thing that we totally forgot to do in our meta rig, which we can set up again real quick, is we forgot to move our hood parent bones to their own collection. So we're just going to do that. Going to go back to our meta rig, control tab. We're going to select our hood parents here. We're going to hit M, new collection. We're going to call this hood parents. Create. We're going to go to our armature properties here, go to rig UI, hood parents. We're going to select extra, and then we're going to add the hood parent right in here. We're going to give extra space in here just so that they're separated. We're going to regenerate the rig, hide the meta rig. One thing to note, regenerating the rig will get rid of the constraints that we made. Don't panic. The animation is still valid for your bones. All we need to do is create that constraint one more time. Make sure to copy it to the selected bones. And we're back in business. Or with your hood parents collection selected, we want to make sure that the hood switch moves with the head when the hood is up and only moves with the body when the hood is down. To do this, we need to add a child of constraint. So select your hood head parent and then select the switcher, Control-Shift-C, child of. Then we want to select the chest parent and then the switcher, Control-Shift-C, child of. I suggest giving these different names. Now what we do is we go and we basically make a driver between these two. So you want the chest driver to basically start at 0, and you want the hood driver to start at 1. So we're going to right click, add a driver, change from scripted expression to maximum value. Our object is our rig. Our bone is our hood position control, X rotation, local space. Show in drivers editor. Select your driver, go to your modifiers, add modifier, generator. So make sure that you change your generator numbers so that the coefficient is 1 and the X over 1 is 5. So now hood's down, the driver's off, hood's up, driver's on. Right click, copy your driver, right click, paste your driver in the bottom one, select it, and now we want to change our values here. So change your coefficient to 0 and your X over 1 to -5 in your bottom driver. And now when the hood is up and we rotate the head, you see the hood moves with the head. When our hood is down and we rotate our head, oh, look at that, the hood doesn't move. However, it still totally does move with the rest of the body. So my friends, that is how you rig the hood of a character. I know that doing stuff like that can be a little challenging, so I figured that I'd make a tutorial for rigging the hood specifically so that now you guys can rig all of your mysterious, badass, evil characters with a hoodie and not worry about animation problems as far as, oh no, I wanted to move the head, but the hood said they're individual controls. I have no idea what to do anymore. Oh. You have answers to all of that. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys. I did say I would show you how I implemented it on my Red Riding Hood character, but this it's the same difference. It's the same difference. You just go on your Red Riding Hood character and do what we did here, if that's what if that's what you're so inclined to do. So thank you all very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe again. We're over a decade on YouTube. We're just trying to get to 10K. So if you can help your boy on the road to 10K subs, I'd really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And there will be more content for you in the future. I will see you all next time. Take care.